Hello and welcome to episode 96 of the No Excuses podcast. My name is Anne and I live in Worcestershire with my husband Tom. Today is Sunday the 6th of April, so we're a quarter of the way through the year already. And the sun is shining, but it's not that warm outside because the washing is horizontal on the line because we have quite a biting wind still. If you're out of the wind but in the sun, if you can find that shelter spot, then it's actually quite nice. And we've got lots of flowers and blossom blooming. And it looks really nice and I'd like to get out in it. I think we're going to have a few days of it, so hopefully I can get outside for a bit. I have written notes this time because I was very waffly last time. But I seem to have put too many stickers on my page and not left myself very much room to write. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Really, so I'm still trying to get my camera a good height for me because I've got new glasses on and they're quite big, as you can see, but if I lift up, as you can see, the garden or the ring light, I have this ongoing problem. But because they're very focals, because I'm looking at distance now, I still look a little bit blurred, but not as blurred as I was. At least I can tell the time now. So let's go, shall we? I've got quite a bit to talk about. I hope you stay with me to the end, and if you don't, then that's okay. It's entirely up to you. It's your tablet, your telly, your computer. You're in charge with that remote or your finger. Take charge of the world, if only. Let's talk about make-along. Oh, let's talk about what I'm wearing at first. This is a Ranunculus, of course it is. And this is the first one I've knitted two now, and every time I put this on I think, what a lovely jumper. I need another one because it's so lightweight, or something very similar. Mine is full sleeved really on me, and it's very, very lightweight. I don't know what size needle I did it on, but it's the light nettle colourway from Nellie and Eve, which is a beer felt and Gotland mix. You can see like dark hairs on it as well as the lighter green, and I just really like it. It is very soft, and I think I had a skein left over or two, and I think I sent it to somebody. Oh dear, did I send it to Sue in Canada? Not sure, but I know I sent it over the pond to somebody for them to try because I really, really like this. But funnily enough, when I went to Wonderwall last year, I went to the Nellie and Eve stand, but I couldn't, nothing grabbed me that time, but I'll go again soon. Soon, not long. Okay, let's talk a bit about the make-alongs. The jump-along is finished, so I will announce a new one, a new mal soon, and I've picked everybody up, but I've not done the winner. I knew there was something else I had to do. So I'll announce the winner in a fortnight. I'm sorry about that. I've got confused because at the moment I've got 800 subs, the monthly one, which I have drawn a winner for, and I was just on the computer downloading some photographs ready of patterns that I'm going to talk about to put into the folder for this podcast. And I kept thinking, there's another one I've got to do. What's the other draw I need to do? And of course it's the 800 subs. You wouldn't believe I was an admin manager, a senior admin manager at that as well. I'll just blame retirement, it addles your brain. Okay, right, so the jump along's finished, and what I want to do is make a montage of some of the stuff on Ravelry. However, I've had trouble picking stuff up off Instagram, and I've only had what I can find, and I'll mention names here because you obviously put yourself up onto Instagram and sometimes Ravelry as well. But I've got Suzanne and Sue Godfrey and Tobias Crafts. Is it Christine? Is it? On Instagram, but when I do a search for the hashtag that I've signed it, on my computer, I don't get anything on Instagram. If I do it on my phone, I had about 5 entries, and they were from those 3 people. So if you think you've entered the jump along on Instagram and you've put at Sparnits too, I've not found you, and I don't know how to find you. It may be that we can't include Instagram going on, and then if you want to enter it, it'll have to be by email or Ravelry. Let's see. So if you're not Suzanne or Tobias, I'll put your name on here. I don't know if it's Kathy or Christine, sorry. Then I haven't seen your post, and of course I want to see your post because A, I want to see what you've made, and B, thank you for entering. So let's see what happens, shall we? So it's probably just as well I haven't drawn a winner. We have a winner from the March, and I'll tell you who that is in a little while. And we've also got the kit off, Get Your Kit Off, which I think ends at the end of September or July. I keep forgetting. And we've also got the double long, which is where you're holding two strands together of whatever yarns you choose, or you're doing colour work. And I've found a kit I can do, because at the moment all I can see is Anita's the only one that's entered the kit off. So she'll be in for a grand prize at this rate. But I was given, you know, we do the tenor ladies, we do a gift box bag to everybody. We tend to buy the same things for each other, as in, you know, I'll buy the same thing for each of my friends. But Nikki included this one. This year we all had a different cross stitch, and you get a plastic hoop, all the threads, needle and everything, and it ends up with that love with flowers around it. The love in the middle is just negative, so it's not stitched on, but that looks all right, doesn't it? And it shows you on the back what you get with the kit. So this is by Simply Make, and I'm going to have a go at that and enter my own kit along, whatever it's called. I'm losing the will to live already because my brain's not in gear. This is why people... I might have to cut this. Shall I? I don't know. Anyway, that's my kit that I'm going to start on shortly. Progress. The My Summer Sky shawl by Lisa Hangs. And this is a sample knit for Angela and Andy at Attic Spin Dye for their stall. Angela said, I said, is there anything you want doing? And Angela said, can you do us one of these, because it's getting a little bit worn. People trying it on, it being draped over the store. Now this hasn't been blocked, so you can see it's got lovely wedges of colour, which are so easy to do. It's a very well written pattern, I found. It's a crescent, so it's in half at the moment because, you know, I'm not good at holding things up. And 7 wedges of colour, differing sizes, and then you do the edge in a simple cast off, stretchy cast off. I didn't think it was that stretchy, so I tried a different one and that was too stretchy, so I went back to the one that the pattern suggested. So yes, so Penny's going to block it for me. Thank you, Penny. So I'm hoping to see her this week because we need to do a trial run of getting me in and out of the car with the van, as we call it, a new car. So she kindly said that she'd block it for me because I did say I'd have a go on our table, but Tom's got his tomatoes on there during the day at the moment, and I think this is going to hang off the edge of the table. So Penny said she would gladly block it for me. I don't think I've put words in her mouth there. No. So that's My Summer Sky, and that will be wending its way to Wonderwall with me. Do you know, if I forget that, I should be so annoyed with myself. It is the sort of thing you do though, isn't it? When you're so excited, you've got to go somewhere. Anyway, I quite enjoyed knitting that. I haven't done a shawl. I love knitting shawls, so that really was not a chore at all. I really, really enjoyed it, because when I have to knit for somebody else, sometimes I really hate it. Anyway, let's get on to the very, very serious thing. That's all I've done, right, in terms of progress. I've decided to undo my love note. Now, I was knitting my love note in, I'll put a picture on the screen, with 2 yarns. I was knitting the second to largest size. In 2 yarns, I was using Holst Super Soft in Gold Crest, held with Titicaca in the colour Crown. Now, it was going all right until my mum said something to me. She plants these seeds in my head and they grow, you know. But she only sort of reiterated what I was thinking myself. Put your hands down. Yeah. That the love hearts around the yoke were just looking tatty. If you do it with mohair, it sort of fills them out. And I'm a loose knitter anyway. And of course, the Holst Super Soft doesn't bloom until you wash it. And I was getting annoyed with it, and I wasn't picking it up to knit on when I did have a few minutes, because it's only round and round and round, so it would have been perfect for the evening knitting. And I just wasn't picking it up, and I thought, I know the reason why. It's because I don't like the lace. I'd be better doing one of these, or a pattern that I've just bought, which I'll show you in a minute. So I just undid it. So now I've got the Titicaca, and that's the Crown colour. And then if I fold that back, that was the Holst colour that I was using. It's the one at the top. I'll talk about the swatch in a minute. And so they went together very well. Maybe a contrast might have been better, but and this is beautiful stuff. It's 100% alpaca. That's one of 2 balls that I've actually wound off that to knit with. And now I want to know whether anybody would like to have this. Would anybody like to buy it? I've looked on the Holst website, and it would cost just over £40-something to buy plus postage at the moment. I'm quite happy. I'd like to sell it for £23 within the UK. I've got 6 balls of it, which is 300 grams, which is 2,400 metres, because it's lace weight. And I'd like to sell my mahogany too. I'll put photographs off the website on the screen, so you can see the colours that are represented. That looks a fairly true colour. Might be slightly goldier than that. But if anybody's interested, let me know. They're both lace weight. They're both alpaca. One's mahogany, one's Crown, and I want to sell them for £20 each, plus £3 postage. So if somebody wants them both, obviously that'll be £43. But I don't want to do a big destash again. I'm thinking you're the people who are watching me. You should have first dibs on anything, because I've decided that if I don't think I'm going to use it, then I'm going to sell it, or try to sell it, or give it away. But where I've got a bit more of a quantity like this, then I might as well try and sell it. But yeah, it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. I've just decided it wasn't suitable for what I wanted, and I've just quite honestly just changed my mind. So Titicaca and that. Titicaca, mahogany and Crown. So anybody's interested in either of those, or you want more details. So what I did was I undid the love note. I'd got sort of about 2 inches below the arm. And then in my stash, I've got some drops kid silk, which by the way is on offer at the moment if you're interested. And I've got a colour called Almond. And I've taken the Holst Super Soft, which is that colour at the top there. And I've mixed it with the Almond. And it's sort of, I think it's a nicer colour myself. And what I've done is I've done a series of holes. You probably can't see, you might be able to see. Series of holes and then pearl bumps to say what size needle I've done this little swatch on. So I've got 5 holes on that one with 2 pearl bumps, so that's a 5.5 needle, and I think that's a bit loose for me. And then the middle one is really nice, that's a 4.5 needle, and then I just did on a 4mm needle, the old size 8, because this is 4-ply weight fingering, really, the super softies. I just did a bit at the top just to see what colour it was and to see how it would knit up, because I'm thinking Ranunculus, I don't know about a love note, I'm sort of a bit reluctant to try it again. I could try it with the mohair, because after all my red one looks lovely and I really like it, but I really like the almond with the almond colour mohair with these drops. I think it's just a little less goldy than that. There's nothing wrong with that colour. I love it. It's part of, if you're an autumn colour girl, autumn or yeah, it's not totally autumn. I don't think it's necessarily the best colour for me, but it's still a very nice colour. Then I've done a swatch. I washed and I blocked it so I could do a gauge, and then from that I can have a look and see what patterns I've already own and what patterns what I fancy making out of it. I really like just a lightweight jumper. Don't think a cardigan, I'm not sure. I'm very good at making my mind up, as you well know. So, but one thing I noticed as well is when I undid the love note, I was a bit worried about how big it was. Now Sal has cast on one roughly the same time as me, and she's got beautiful red colours for hers. And I don't know, I think she might be doing a size down from what I was doing. But when I kept thinking, this is looking huge, you know, even for me who's like, you know, a fat wench. It was like, when I measured it, when I took it off the needles, right, without stretching it, hadn't been blocked or anything, it measured 48 inches around the neckline and 70 inches around the body. That is enormous. And the neckline worried me more than anything, because that's 48 inches. You know, I want to take at least 28 inches off that. All right, yeah, okay, let's do that, shall we? When that's the neck shaping. So something's obviously gone wrong. I suspect I probably went down a needle last time, but I thought I'd check that before I started on this one. My red version was also made with Holst Super Soft and Rowan Kid Silk Haze. Is it the yarn? Is it me? Anyway, the love note is no more, and that is the reason why. Dear me. Now, I'm going to offer you this as well, because I've collected things over the years that I've tried to support local makers, Etsy and things, seen things I like it, therefore I shall have it. And the other thing, I just want to see if anybody's interested in having this. I'm not selling everything up, I'm not turning into a one-woman stall, but I will. There are some things I think that are too good for charity if I haven't offered them up to somebody else first. And you're my biggest audience, quite frankly. I have got this lovely, gorgeous Tula Pink, I'm sure it's Tula Pink, fabric by Richard of Wacky Wear on Etsy. Now, Richard he's not on there anymore, but he used to make proper bags, you know, with leather, UPVC, well, UPVC mainly, leather look. And purses and shirts, and he would hold workshops for sewing as well. So he's got a lot of experience sewing. He used to do it as part of his job, and he was a joy to watch. Absolutely loved him. But then he got into dolls' houses and started making beautiful, exquisite miniatures, and I sort of, you know, I didn't watch him anymore because it wasn't the sort of thing that I was interested in at that time. So I've got this lovely purse, and it measures 8 inches across and about 4.5 high. It's got a slip pocket at the back. Yeah, it's got a lovely turquoise, coordinating turquoise lining. It's got two pockets here that are clear, so you can put your driving licence, you must pass in there from below. And here it's got full width slip pocket again at both sides, and it's got 16 card spaces and a central zip that sort of floats, zip pocket that is also lined. That's not attached at the bottom, excuse me, flapping at you. And I just bought it because I love the colours, but I've never ever used it. It closes with the magnetic catch, so I've just put the bit of the zip the wrong way around and I can't see to pull it. Anyway, my fingers keep running out of it. And it closes, excuse me, with a magnetic catch. Is anybody interested in this? I will give the money to the Stroke Association, and I'm looking for £15 for that. So if anybody's interested, if not, I will put it in the charity bag for. I don't think it would suit any of my friends, but it's very well made, not been used, been in a drawer, but I love it. But I'm not going to use it, so I've got to be hard with myself, firm with myself, and start getting rid of things. So if you're interested in any of the wool or that purse, please get in touch with me. The first one I see who's interested will get it. Within the UK only. I don't think either of them are worth posting out, if I'm honest. Right, there won't be an awful lot of selling. It's just that when I come to an end of a project, if I've got a lot left over, because I do tend to overbuy, then I may or may not offer up what's left. But sometimes I might put it in a giveaway, you see. Right, I'm going to go and get the only thing that's incoming. Right, this is the craft. Right, this is the Craft House Magic Liberty fabric pack. This is Fat Quarters. This is for the month of April, and I stupidly signed up to it twice because I'm sure when I signed up to it in January it said 3 months, so I went and renewed it, and so Ellie says I can send it back. The one that I haven't opened, I'll send back. I've only just opened this, so you always get a lovely little faux suede or faux leather tag for your makes. I've got a little note from her saying, personalised, saying thank you, Anne. And then she always includes little squares of quilting cotton or cotton with little patterns on, obviously, got something on them. And then this one, and I haven't looked at these online even, so I don't know what they look like. So we'll have a look together, shall we? Very Easterish, I think. So that's lovely. These are Liberty, to say. I don't know what they're called, and I appear to have them upside down. Oh, that would be my favourite. Wouldn't wear that at all. Wouldn't wear any of those colours, but I love them to look at. And then finally, one of the classics. So they look really, really nice together, don't they? And they just remind me of mini eggs, the Cadbury ones. Really, really pretty. And I've been a very good girl. No more. I haven't bought any yarn. I'm trying to flog it, but I haven't bought any yet. That will change when we go to Wonderwool. Have I mentioned Wonderwool? Anyway, so that's my Liberty Fat Quarters for the month. I've not used any of them yet. We'll put that somewhere where it's not going to fall down for a few minutes. Now, what I thought I'd do is tell you about the latest patterns that I've bought. There's various people I follow on Instagram, designers. I try and follow designers more than yarn dyers because of the temptation. And I still buy patterns even though I don't really need to. Isabel Kramer has got this new pattern, and it's a lovely top. It's not dissimilar to this in the fact that it's got patterned yoke, textured yoke, which I quite like, because although I bought a pattern the other day that's got texture around the tummy, or one's free that I'll show you in a minute, that's not really suitable for me, because the tummy is not something I want people's eye to be drawn towards, you know. Oh, look at that pretty lace down there. We won't go there. So this is the Fiorellino by Isabel Kramer, and it is knit in my yak, and it's called Fiorellino, I think. And I'm going to put, Isabel did a collaboration with my yak, and I've always been interested in their fibres because they're very anti-pilling. In fact, I wrote to them on Instagram and said, was this true? And they said yes, it's known for it not being, I think it's got a long staple or something, so it's known to be much better at not pilling. And she did a collaboration with them, and I'm going to put on screen the colours that they made together for this particular top. And there might be other patterns coming as well. I'm not sure whether it's in the same yarn. So there are other colours available in the linen mix, but these are the ones for this particular pattern that, you know, they decided it would look good in. Now, I added it up. I thought I am going to treat myself, depending on what I buy at Wonderball. I'm going to treat myself because I've never bought any my yak. I'd like to know whether it is anti-pill or less pilling, because I've just de-pilled one of my house jumpers, and it was, you know, they're both looking very, very tatty, the two merino ones that I made a while ago, although I have had a lot of wear out of them. So I looked it up, and in my size it would cost me £128 for a short sleeve top. Now, I'm not known to be skimp on my wool, but I thought that was a lot of money for commercial yarn. But then again, I appreciate that a lot of it goes back to the people who've got the yaks, that own the yaks, and it started because they wanted them to have, you know, a fair price for the for what they were producing from the yaks, from the animals themselves, to the point of sale. You know, they wanted the people at the bottom of the triangle to reap a better reward than they would normally. And if you think about it, a lot of skeins now on Etsy or ordinary websites are coming in at about £24 just for standard merino, or merino and nylon. And you think, well, you know, is it you know, what everything's going up in price so much that you've got to watch your pennies. And do I want to take the risk that I will wear it? Will I like it? I've not felt the yarn. People don't sell it locally. You'd have to look at Loop or Yarn Story in Bath. So there's very few outlets. I think I'd have the bluey grey. Oh, by the way, thank you to everybody who said I look nice in the blue, the duck egg blue Rowan felted tweed that I wore last time. Very kind of you, and I don't have many blue, that sort of tone. I've got a navy, but I think navy suits most people, doesn't it? But I don't do blue very often. My husband is waving at me. He's ventured into the gardening. So that's the first pattern I've bought, because it was 20% off, along with any other. It was Isabel's birthday, I think, along with any other patterns. So I bought the Marie-Chan cardigan. I like a cardigan with a pattern down the front. I don't know if it's got a pattern down the back, but I wouldn't do that like I didn't on the Stromboli, which is a Caitlin Hunter pattern, which I haven't worn yet, you know, because of the weather. Maybe it's time to get that out. It's an option for this, when it gets a tiny bit, when the wind drops, shall we say. Now, the Marie-Chan cardigan is very nice, and I'll put a picture on the screen. And then I got hold of Breather by Stephanie Lotven, which is a scarf. Excuse me. I've always got hiccups, I'm talking too fast. Tom is planting spring onions, I think, by the look of it. This, I didn't really get onto the Sophie scarf thing because I felt that for a small scarf, I didn't know whether I'd wear it. It looked very simple. I thought, I'm sure I could work that out. And on past experience, I probably couldn't. But I never got round to buying it. Now, I know Barbara in Australia, Bondi Crafter Barbara, has made about 400 of them, it seems. Is that a bit of a slight exaggeration, Barbara? And they look beautiful. They look lovely, and I think they're a great accessory. I just haven't. Sometimes when things become so popular, I go off them. She says, wearing a Ranunculus, the most popular. Is it one of the most popular ones on Ravelry? So I bought this breather one because it's small. You can knit it any gauge, any wool. It can be small, big, in between, and it's got a nice edging, which no doubt needs blocking wires by the look of it. And then 2 free patterns, Laura by Lamb Kid Designs, which is a sort of loose jumper with a little bit of a stand-up neck, and you can choose. It's recommended worsted weight, made up of 2 yarns, so mohair and whatever you choose. And then that's quite a plain jumper, but then you could use variegated yarn if you want to, which I seem to have got quite a bit of, even in sweater quantities. And then the T23 by Deborah Doherty, and this is another Mayak pattern that they were highlighting on Instagram the other day, light fingering, and that's the one where it's a nice loose comfortable looking tee with patterning around the tummy. So although I like the fit of it, I wouldn't necessarily put the patterning around the tummy. In fact, I've got the tee that Leah made last year or the year before. I need to, is that summer sorbet? I need to knit that up. If I've got that wrong, I'll put it on the screen. I want to knit that up this summer, ready for the winter, the rate I'm going at the moment. I really struggled last night. I don't know whether I wanted to get the shawl finished, so I probably did a bit more knitting than I should have. But my body went into like, I'm not having this anymore. But not just my arms and my shoulders. My whole body's like, you can go and walk. I'm fed up with you. So I took all the drugs I could get my hands off and fell asleep in front of the telly again. That's opiates for you. I don't have to worry so much now I'm not driving. I'm not saying I'm all opiated out, I'm not, but because you do get used to them. Anyway, that's me going off at a tangent, isn't it? Well, I've been trying to be good. So those are patterns I've bought, so those are incoming. But then I've got to finish a jumper to wear to Underwool. So I've grabbed my Odette out, which is a Sally Norland pattern, and of course it's at the bottom of this bag. So I'm just going to show you. I've got the City Limits, the Mick Aston one, which is lots of stripes, and I've got about 4 inches to do, and which includes the rib on the bottom of that and the sleeves. Now the sleeves are shorter on that because it's a drop shoulder, whereas this is a setting sleeve, and I've finished the body. Now I absolutely, look at those colours. I absolutely adore these colours. This is mainly botanical knits, and she was at Wonderwool last couple of years. Don't know if she's going again. I need to go up to her and show her if this is and I've decided this is going to be the jumper that I finish. And when I've finished putting this video up on YouTube, I will be picking up for the sleeves. But this is gorgeous. I've done it quite long, but I measured it and I've put it on, and I think it's going to be okay. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it, and it's about time I wore it. So this is a BFL 4-ply in different colours, as you can see, held with a variegated coordinating mohair silk. And I'll just show you the mohair silk because it's there, just very slightly variegated. It's a nice pink with the bits of mustard and whatever else is in there. Can't see against the light because it's so bright outside. very, very pretty. My sort of thing. Definitely my sort of thing. So I'm going to have a go at doing that. I think it's 3 weeks today that we'll be at Wonderwall. Probably on my way home by now, with being chauffeured by Penny. Having spent some money, I would have thought. I do want to look at different stuff this year, though. I keep telling myself that in the faint hope that I will. And not just go, oh, all the pretty things. Because I don't really want to buy any single skeins unless they're for something specific. But I keep focusing on, I've got 2 skeins of orange and pink. And I quite fancy doing something with orange and pink. And this is what starts it, you see, and then I've got to have orange and pink for no specific reason. And then when I've got the orange and pink, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, and I've spent money on it. Right, now, the male winner for March, which we said tulips was the key word, and I did the random comment picker on the internet, and it came up first with somebody that is outside the UK, but they're not somebody. I've kept a list of those of you who said you were happy to pay the difference. So I redrew it, because you're not one of those people. So I pressed the button again to choose somebody else, because I don't want to put anybody under pressure to pay money for a prize when they haven't told me that they're happy to pay the difference in postage. I've been over this before, you know what I mean. But I just want to make sure that you think I'm being fair. So the winner of March, and I think it's totally appropriate, is Glenda Bathgate. And Glenda, I know this hopefully will put a little bit of a smile on your face in these tough times. So I'll get in touch with you and see what we can arrange. See what you'd like. I'm going to let you choose out of a number of things and see what you'd like to choose for as your prize. Okay, and that's it, apart from activity. Right, I had my hair cut, I had it trimmed, which I said I'd do, and a lot of you said that you preferred it long, and I do too, and my hairdresser said she did, but I don't know, she's just agreeing with me. And then we picked up the new specs, and these are quite big, because the ones I chose that were like my ones last time, they said I couldn't have those because the varifocal didn't fit in. Well, they fitted last time, but I have got a new prescription, and I can now read the sizes on my knitting needle tips for the first time in months. So it has improved. I met with Jeanette, who I used to work with, and her daughter around the pub, and we put the worlds to right. And that was nice, having a chat with her. And then on Mother's Day, I went to see my mum. That was a fortnight, I think. Today, fortnight? Or was it last weekend? Losing track again. I went to see Mum, and my 2 nephews turned up, and the dog, the puppy. And that was nice to see them again. And then on the day after, on Monday, I met Liz in Worcester. Tom dropped me off and picked me up kindly. In the van, we tried taking this big chair with us because we were parked on the flat outside our house instead of at the side of the road. So Tom had to shove me a bit, and then we had trouble getting out because we parked in a multi-storey car park because that was flat to get out in Worcester, and I could feel that I'd hit something. I could feel something going ping. Tom couldn't see that, kept telling me to reverse. So I've damaged one of the chairs on the chair, but we're on the car, but we are keeping it so it's our car, and we can do what we can ruin it if we want to. And we will. And we were very good. We went for coffee, and then we went for lunch at a place called Hash in Worcester, which I've never been to, but Liz had walked past it. And it's a bit hip for me and Liz as older ladies, and we both had a salad. Well, I had cheese and onion pie. I put a photograph here that I put on Instagram, and Liz had I think he said deep fried chicken, coated chicken, and she said hers was really nice. and I had a margarita, a bit too much salt. I should have. It did say on the menu you could have it half salted, so I should have asked for that because I'm not a big salt fan anyway. And of course they vary from shop to place, don't they? And Liz had an Aperol spritz, which I'm not keen on. So we did very well, and we didn't have a pudding, and we didn't have fries with anything, so we were quite smug, probably the right word to use. Tom went to Stockport for the day. Well, he left here at about 9:30 and got back probably about 4:45. But yeah, he didn't do too badly, and it was in the light. It said the one when he goes near Christmas, it's just light and coming back in the dark, so it's a bit more tedious for him on the motorway. But yeah, it's nice to see his family, he said. And that's it. I'm keeping up with my more or less fortnightly at the moment, so I will see you in a couple of weeks' time, and I will be bouncing off the ceiling at the fun of going to Wonderwall. So April's flower. Now, I've tried to think of a flower that's just out in April in our garden, but we've got several different blossoms, so I'm going to use the word blossom. We have got, well, the cherry, ornamental cherry is just finished, and our green gage and our Victoria plum and the unknown plum, which should have been a russet apple, but it isn't, it's a big black plum, possibly Czar, makes excellent jam. That is in bloom at the moment, and the apple, which I love apple blossom because it starts out pink. I've got Bramley in front of me, and we've got the one that we inherited down the garden, which is a jewel apple. Is coming into bud and soon be in flower, and really looking forward to that. So yes, blossom, if you want to be in the April draw, blossom in this episode only, not the next episode. If you mentioned spring today and you haven't previously, I'm going to make one list of everybody for the 800 subs. This is spring is the word, and it doesn't matter how many times you mention the word spring, you'll be entered in once. But it's last episode, this episode, possibly the next, and then I'll make a list, because I figure by then, if you are a subscriber and you do watch me, you will have watched, hopefully, and then you are more entitled to an entry, aren't you? And if you haven't watched, fair enough. Because there's so much criticism online, you feel like you have to explain yourself for every action, inaction, and anyway, I like fairness. My husband is coming back, so I'm going to say, not because he's coming back, but I've said everything I want to say. We're going out, the man is coming on Thursday to give us a quick look at the bathroom and say what we need to buy, or hopefully going to put me in the right direction for suppliers locally. So that's exciting. And then once I've got a date in the diary, I can book something up for us to go away while that's being done. But I'm going to, and then we're going to go and have a look tomorrow down in Worcester Blackpool, where there's a bit of a trading estate at various things, and then hopefully maybe Tuesday or Wednesday go out and have a look at things to do with the bathroom in Worcester or Bromsgrove. Don't know if there's much in where I live in Droitwich, so yeah. So stop saying so, Anne. I hate it when the youngsters go so and they start a sentence. Let's go. And if I've done that, you can send me a taser in the post. I'm going to go before anybody does. I love you, leave you. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for all your comments. You're lovely. I'll see you soon. Bye.